Stokely Carmichael. We were disturbed about the fact that Attorney Jelnick wasn't allowed to practice.
Well, as you know, for a number of years in the South, the Lawyers Constitutional Defense Committee and other organizations have been allowed to try cases. The reason they've been allowed is that the state courts have been aware that if they stopped these out-of-state attorneys, who are the only honest, ethical representation unpopular defendants like SNCC can get, that the federal courts were going to step on them. They've been stopping us for the last few months now. As you know, I was arrested myself a few weeks ago. A case is now pending in the federal district court in Mobile. The outcome of that case will be the right of out-of-state attorneys to practice law in the state of Alabama and other states of the Deep South where unpopular defendants, such as members of SNCC, cannot receive their constitutional guarantee of a right to counsel any other way. In today's case, Mr. Carmichael and Mr. House and Mr. Taylor's case from last week, these cases will be appealed to the circuit court here in Alabama. But in the meantime, a preliminary injunction hearing will be held in Mobile to determine whether or not our charges can be proved that these arrests were designed solely to discourage Negro participation in the election on November 8th. And upon such a demonstration of the proof, and any of you who heard the evidence today cannot have any doubt, these trials will never go on the circuit court and they will end in the federal court.
It's obvious, gentlemen, from the mayor's statement who ordered my arrest, that I was arrested because on his own tuition I had planned beforehand to incite to riot. And that he has no facts of that, it's just his own intuition. So it's crystal clear to me that the whole charge is a phony charge.
I have one statement to make. I think the whole trial was a farce.
Any questions? Questions?
Mr. Carmichael, if you say it was a farce and you believe that you were going to be convicted regardless of what you said, why did you spend so much time in court?
Well, I wanted to really go through the procedure to show just what a farce it was. We called on stand all of the arresting officers, both of whom testified that they did not issue the warrant arrest. It was issued by the mayor, who then testified that he had me arrested because he knew that I had planned to incite to riot. Guilty, and condemnation of that kind is just impossible. The judge isn't going to condemn the mayor, especially in the case of a black man.
What do you expect in federal court on your appeal?
I'm quite sure that the federal court will find that to be a phony charge and throw it out. As all the other charges that have been brought against us for inciting to riot, they haven't proved one. What, in fact, those people try to do is to chill the free speech of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. By arresting us every time we move, they stop us from advocating that which they don't want to hear, because we are the most militant organization in terms of civil rights in this country and in terms of opposition to the administration's policy on the war in Vietnam, so that we must be shut up, and this is the way they do it.
I think one very honest thing was said by the police on the stand today, that Mr. Carmichael was arrested for advocating black power.
It's crystal clear that the police officer said that I was arrested for advocating black power, and then he himself could not define what black power was.
I understand you have filed suit against the mayor.
Well, the mayor is one of the defendants in this case, the mayor being the person who ordered the arrest. We filed it against the mayor, the judge, the prosecutor, and other public officials of Selma. That is the way it gets before the court to determine whether or not, the issue is not innocence or guilt. The question is whether the purpose of the arrests were related to the alleged acts or whether they were designed to interfere with the rights guaranteed under the Voting Rights Act 1965. When we prove the latter, this will result in the federal court not saying that Mr. Carmichael and Mr. House and Mr. Taylor are innocent or guilty. They'll say that such charges cannot be allowed to be heard because the mere fact of the prosecution itself will serve the intended purpose, and that is to intimidate Negroes in Dallas County and other places from participating in the electoral process.
But isn't this a civil suit?
In order to enjoin a criminal prosecution, you must bring a civil suit. You don't bring a criminal suit to stop a criminal prosecution. The nature of it, an injunction in itself is civil.
How much are you suing for?
This is not suing for money. This is suing for an injunction to prevent the holding of the state trial.
I understood you had filed a $10,000 suit against the mayor.
Now, in order to have jurisdiction in the federal court, you must have a federal claim and damages to the individual which exceed $10,000. There's no claim asking for $10,000 on behalf of any member of anyone. There's no claim for money in this case.
How would you describe today's incident outside the courtroom?
Just typical. Typical. It's what we say in the black community is that's white folks showing their color.
Do you believe that this was police brutality?
Well, you have it on film. You show it to the people and they'll decide.
These weren't our planted photographers, were they?
Okay.
You got anything else? Ask a question. All right, go back.
Y'all folks ain't gonna worry me because y'all want to get on camera with little head all the time. Not only that, I have something to say. Don't say it at all.